Imagine a machine that can sense your fear before you even feel it. A machine that doesn't just see you, but understands the silent language of your body's chemistry. For years, it's been the stuff of science fiction, but that fiction is now fact. In a breakthrough that blurs the line between biology and technology, scientists have just built a robot that can literally smell fear. This isn't a metaphor for advanced behavioral analysis. It's a technological marvel that has moved from the pages of speculative fiction into the stark reality of a high-security laboratory. For decades, this was the holy grail of effective computing, teaching a machine to understand human emotion. And now, that grail has been found. Imagine walking into the room where it lives. It's quiet, unnervingly so. The air is filtered, sterile, carrying no scent but that of ozone and electricity. The lighting is bright and clinical, designed to eliminate every shadow. This is a space designed for precision, for pure, unadulterated observation. And in the very center of this silent theater, a machine whirs softly, a low, resonant hum that seems to vibrate in your bones. It's a marvel of engineering. Crafted from polished alloys and carbon fiber composites, its joints moving with an unnatural, silent grace. This is not just any machine. It is an observer, built for one singular purpose. Its head is a complex array of sensors, cameras, and delicate instruments. Powering it all is a sophisticated artificial intelligence, its neural networks modeled on the processing centers of the human brain, but operating at speeds we can barely comprehend. As you approach, its head turns in a silent, fluid motion. Its glowing optical sensors, a piercing sapphire blue, lock onto you, beginning a deep, analytical scan. You feel a slight unease, a cold flicker of nervousness deep in your gut. Your heart rate quickens, almost imperceptibly. Your palms might feel a little damp. It's a natural human reaction to something so new, so alien. A primal fight-or-flight response kicking in at a low level. You are face-to-face with a non-biological intelligence that is actively studying you, and every cell in your body seems to know it. But what if this machine didn't just see your hesitation? What if it could sense that very flicker of unease on a molecular level? It doesn't read your mind in a telepathic sense. The science is far more tangible and perhaps more invasive. It's grounded in pure biology and chemistry. This machine is a master of multimodal sensor fusion. Its thermal cameras detect the subtle shift in blood flow to your face. Its high-resolution cameras track micro-expressions that last for only a fraction of a second. But its true genius lies in its electronic nose. It analyzes the subtle, almost imperceptible signals your own body gives off when you experience fear. We're talking about the specific chemical changes in your sweat, the unique cocktail of hormones and volatile organic compounds like adrenaline and cortisol that you exhale. The robot takes all this data, visual, thermal, and chemical, and feeds it into its AI brain. The AI, trained on thousands of hours of human emotional data, searches for a specific pattern, the undeniable signature of fear. What if it knew you were scared, perhaps even before you consciously registered the feeling yourself? It sounds like a scene ripped straight from a science fiction blockbuster, a chilling story about a dystopian future where our innermost feelings are no longer private. We've seen it in movies, read it in books, and always comforted ourselves with the thought that it was just a cautionary tale. But this isn't just a plot from a movie anymore. This is the reality we are stepping into. Scientists, engineers, and AI developers have been working tirelessly, pushing the boundaries of what technology can achieve, and they have succeeded. They have built a robot that can detect human fear. It's a new frontier in human-machine interaction, one that is both fascinating and deeply unsettling. The implications are staggering, raising profound questions about autonomy, privacy, and the very nature of what it means to feel when a machine can quantify it. It begins deep within the brain, in a small almond-shaped structure called the amygdala, our primal fear center. When it senses a threat, it acts as a biological tripwire, sending an urgent signal through the nervous system. Your adrenal glands go into overdrive, unleashing a potent cocktail of stress hormones like adrenaline and cortisol. Adrenaline is the accelerator, instantly increasing your heart rate and sharpening your senses for a potential fight or flight. Cortisol fine-tunes this response, flooding your body with energy. These hormones are the conductors of the symphony of fear, but they also trigger a far more subtle and telling biological signal. One of the most significant reactions is the change in the composition of our sweat. The sweat from heat or exercise comes from eccrine glands and is mostly water. But the cold sweat produced under stress is entirely different. It's an ancient evolutionary alarm bell. This stress-induced sweat is released from apocrine glands, concentrated in areas like the armpits. It's rich in lipids and proteins, which, when broken down by skin bacteria, release a host of volatile organic compounds. These are pheromones that carry a distinct scent signature of fear, a signature that, until now, was an invisible language, largely undetectable by machines. This is where the robot's advanced sensors come into play. Think of them as an artificial nose with a sensitivity that dwarfs even a bloodhound's. These are highly specialized chemosensors, electronic noses capable of performing gas chromatography mass spectrometry on the fly. They can literally smell the air around a person, drawing in microscopic airborne particles. Inside the sensor, these molecules are sorted by weight and charge, creating a unique chemical fingerprint of the air itself, allowing the machine to analyze its chemical makeup with incredible precision. The AI at the core of the robot has been trained on vast datasets of these fear-related chemical signatures, collected from volunteers in controlled, stressful situations. This isn't just one chemical, but a complex bouquet. Through machine learning, the AI has learned to recognize this intricate pattern. It can distinguish the unique scent of adrenaline-fueled sweat from everyday perspiration with incredible accuracy, filtering out background noise like perfume or pollutants to isolate the pure signal of anxiety. But scent is only one piece of this complex puzzle. Fear is written not just in our chemistry, but across our very bodies. The robot uses high-resolution cameras and sophisticated computer vision algorithms to track the tells we cannot hide. It's trained to spot micro-expressions, a fleeting frown, a momentary lip corner pull, a flash of raised eyebrows, the tiny involuntary muscle movements in your face that betray your true feelings. It also analyzes body language, looking for the subtle shifts in your posture as your body tenses up, the protective angling of the torso, or the self-soothing gestures that signal a response to a perceived threat. The robot watches for dilated pupils as the eyes try to gather more light. It logs a faster blink rate, a key indicator of cognitive stress, and can even spot the almost invisible tremor in your hands caused by adrenaline. On top of all this, it employs non-contact biometric analysis. Using thermal imaging, it can detect changes in blood flow patterns in your face, as blood is redirected away from the skin during a fear response. This allows it to remotely calculate your heart rate. It can even use millimeter waves to detect the tiny movements of your chest, tracking your respiration rate and heart rhythm without ever making contact. A sudden spike is a powerful confirmation. By combining all of this data, the chemical scent of fear, the visual cues from your body language, and the biometric readings of your heart rate and breathing, the AI performs data fusion. Any single indicator could be misleading. A person might be cold or tired or have just exercised, but when multiple independent signals all point to fear, the probability of a false positive plummets. The AI can build a comprehensive and shockingly reliable profile of your emotional state. The applications are staggering, from airport security to clinical diagnostics. But the ethical questions are just as profound. What becomes of emotional privacy in a world with machines that can read our deepest fears? Could this technology be used to manipulate, coerce, or discriminate? It's a technological fusion of biology, chemistry, and artificial intelligence that has created a machine that doesn't just see you or hear you. It senses you. It knows you're scared, perhaps better than you know yourself. The future of public safety could be completely redefined, and one of the most immediate applications is in the realm of high-stakes security, particularly at our airports. We've all experienced the current system. The long queues, the tedious unpacking of personal belongings, the invasive pat-downs. It's a system built on broad suspicion, but imagine a different reality. Instead of this friction-filled process, you simply walk down a corridor. As you do, a network of advanced sensors performs a silent, instantaneous analysis. It's not just looking for metal objects or explosives. It's reading the very air around you, sampling the invisible cloud of chemical compounds we all emit. It's searching for the specific chemosignals of fear or deception that might betray malicious intent. The system's AI could flag a single individual for a discrete secondary screening, allowing the vast majority of travelers to pass through with unprecedented speed. The question, however, remains, can an algorithm truly distinguish between the fear of a terrorist and the anxiety of a nervous flyer? Now consider the interrogation room, a place defined by psychological pressure and the search for truth. For decades, law enforcement has relied on the polygraph, a tool so notoriously unreliable it's often inadmissible in court. A trained subject can learn to control their heart rate and breathing. This new technology, however, targets a system we cannot consciously command, our own biochemistry. When a person lies under duress, their body often releases a specific cocktail of stress hormones. Our fear-sensing robot would provide detectives with a real-time, objective analysis of this chemical data, flagging moments of extreme stress that correlate with specific questions. This would essentially be the ultimate lie detector, one that is far more difficult to deceive. It could be a powerful tool to exonerate the innocent, but it also raises profound questions. Could an innocent person's fear of authority trigger a false positive? The line between an investigative tool and a tool of coercion becomes dangerously blurred. But the applications aren't limited to security. Just think about the world of entertainment, an industry constantly chasing deeper immersion. Imagine playing a horror video game. The system detects your rising fear through a headset or discrete sensors. As your fear increases, the game could adapt in real time. The whispers in the dark grow louder, the shadows lengthen, the monster's AI becomes more cunning, learning exactly what terrifies you most. This extends beyond gaming. Imagine interactive films that tailor their suspense to your emotional state, or virtual reality training simulations for first responders that can safely replicate the intense stress of a real-life crisis. It's a future where entertainment doesn't just show you a story, it feels your response and writes the story with you. Perhaps the most profound impact could be in a field desperate for objective metrics: mental health. This technology actually has incredible potential in the field of mental health diagnostics and therapy. For conditions like PTSD and anxiety disorders, treatment often relies on a patient's subjective description of their feelings. But with this technology, a therapist could gain a window into the patient's actual biological fear response. During exposure therapy, a therapist could monitor a patient's chemical fear levels as they confront their triggers, knowing precisely when to push forward. This provides invaluable, quantifiable data. It could track their progress over weeks and months, showing in hard data how their fear response is diminishing over time, proving that the therapy is working on a fundamental chemical level. Of course, the sanctity of this data is paramount, making patient privacy the highest ethical hurdle. The most fundamental danger it presents is the complete erosion of emotional privacy. A potential employer might use it. An insurance company could use it. A salesperson could use it to identify your anxieties and exploit them. This could lead to a society where people are afraid to feel, where authentic emotional expression becomes a liability. What if the sensors flag someone at an airport with a racing heart and the chemical signature of stress? The machine might conclude this person is a threat, but what if that person simply has a severe phobia of flying? In a law enforcement setting, a false positive could lead to a wrongful arrest or a tragic escalation of force. Imagine this perfectly accurate, fear-detecting robot ending up in the hands of an authoritarian government. Citizens would be painfully aware that any sign of fear or opposition could be detected by ubiquitous sensors. The system could instantly identify the most fearful individuals, flagging them for immediate arrest by security forces. The fear of being detected would become the ultimate prison, a psychological cage built from algorithms and sensors. We find ourselves standing at a monumental crossroads, a point in history where the line between human experience and machine perception is becoming astonishingly thin. On one hand, the potential benefits are undeniably compelling. However, on the other hand, the shadow cast by this technology is equally long and dark. We have built a machine that can read the language of our bodies, but we have not yet developed the wisdom to ensure it will be used for good. We need to collectively establish clear and binding rules for how, where, and why fear-detecting technology can be deployed. There must be a clear and accessible process for individuals to challenge the machine's findings. The scientists and engineers who are building these systems have a profound ethical duty to consider the societal impact of their creations. The most sensible path lies not in the extremes of total acceptance or total rejection, but in the challenging middle ground of critical engagement. This nuanced approach allows us to harness the good while building strong defenses against the bad. In the end, the robot that can smell fear serves as a powerful mirror. It reflects back at us our greatest hopes for a safer, better understood world, and our deepest fears of a world without privacy or freedom. Whether this invention becomes a guardian or a warden is not up to the machine. It is up to us.